Sandy Says Read. Welcome to the channel. This evening we are going to do a part 2 of a discussion on some of the additional ways that you can go about getting published and how those ways might not be the easy way out in publishing, and that's okay. All right? I had not intended to do a second part to this video, but in that first video, I feel that I left some stuff out. I had some notes. I had my notes because, I'm ancient. I need notes to do these things. I had my notes, but I had not included everything that I think I should have included. And I thought of some more things after filming. So we're going to talk about a couple more ways that you can go about publishing your stuff that are not the traditional route. All right. And we're also going to talk about a couple more ways that you might go about marketing your stuff. Okay. Some advice. You can take it or leave it. Okay. This is just helpful, thoughtful stuff. Do what you want with it. I'm just talking from the trenches. All right. Do what you want with this stuff. But let's start with the traditional publishing concept. You guys, once again, I am not knocking the traditional publishing concept. I am in awe of the people who can go through that and get, Tor or Del Rey or Penguin or HarperCollins, an author who can snag themselves a literary agent and can work with that agent to get all the way to that coveted process. That's awesome. That is amazing, and that is great. I'm not knocking that process. It is arduous. It is strenuous. It is a struggle. I acknowledge that. We're not talking about that in this video. We are going to talk about all the other ways that you can go about publishing your work. And we mentioned the indie publishing houses. We mentioned self-publishing in the last video. I don't know if I talked about, digital publishing and, the skill set that takes. That is a series of classes all on its own. That is not an easy thing to do. That's a skill set that, oh my. Yeah, it took a while and I haven't mastered it. I'm not going to pretend that I've mastered the skill set of formatting an ebook, because every time I go to do it, it is like, oh God, what am I going to screw up, right? All right. So let's talk about some of the other ways to publish, though. Some of the other ways to get your creative work out there to the world, because I want to mention, I've written down here, blogs and vlogs. I especially want to mention, if you're a poet and you read your poetry on a YouTube channel or on your vlog or somewhere online, I think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing. First of all, it's brave in my mindset. I think it's very brave to read your poetry out there to the world. But it's an opportunity for the consumer, the reader, the person who's listening, the listener. It's an opportunity for them to hear and experience the poetry the way you really intended it to be heard and experienced, right? I mean, you can read it the way you intended it to be heard. And that's amazing to me, and that's wonderful. I think that a poet who can publish their work through their vlog or through a YouTube channel or a Rumble channel, that is amazing to me. And I think that's a very valid form of publishing your poetry. In addition to doing a chapbook on your own or doing a chapbook through an indie publishing house, etc., etc., etc. I also think that publishing a gaming manual for any game that you're doing, any role-playing game, any, excuse me, we're going to choke to death while we're trying to get this done here. Any D&D game that you're doing, if you're putting together a gaming manual or a quest, you're putting together a creative work. And let's say you print out that creative work and then you have your players read it and work from it. You're sharing your creative work with those people. It's been published. It's being enjoyed. And is that not the goal? Exactly the goal. And I think that is a valid form of publishing right there. It may be on a smaller scale than Stephen King getting his work out to millions of people, but it's still getting your creative work into the hands of the people who want it and enjoy it. That is valid to me. Let's see. Also, screenplays. Let's say you're writing screenplays and you don't personally know Peter Jackson or, any of those big names producers out there in Hollywood. Okay, well, you might know someone in your community who puts together plays and could take your screenplay and put together a theater troupe right there in town and produce this play for the local community. And then guess what? The community will get to see that performance and enjoy your work. And once again, your creative work is out there for people to consume and enjoy. And that is, again, the goal, right? I think that is a very valid form of publishing right there. What else? I've written down here, some of the online serial platforms like Substack, Patreon, Locals, any of those platforms that let you publish like a scene at a time, a chapter at a time, or the whole book, upload the whole thing. Those platforms let you publish however much you want to, as frequently or infrequently as you want to, right? And your audience, your viewers, your readers, they can consume it however often they want to. I think that is a perfectly valid form of publishing. And in fact, if you have published something in that manner, even the indie publishing houses and the traditional publishing houses will not take the work because it has been published, right? It's already been out there. It's already been enjoyed. And again, that is the goal. Your creative work has been presented to people who want to consume it and enjoy it. The goal. All right. And that serial storytelling, I mean, my gosh, you guys, that's how Dickens did it, right? But he did it in newspapers. Laura Ingalls Wilder and her sisters, they used to read a story that was printed in the newspaper way back in the day. Of course, I think Pa had to trudge many miles to get to a town that had the newspaper and bring it back to them. So they did not get to read it as frequently as your readers will get to read your installments in stories. There you go. You'll be following the footsteps of great writers. All right, so those are some of the ways of publishing, right? Let's get away from that topic now and switch over to this marketing concept. We're switching gears. The marketing concept, I want to say that there are so many ways that we indie creatives can help one another in this marketing idea, in this idea of getting the information out there, in letting the world know that this particular author exists, this particular author has a book available, this particular author has a screenplay that's out, that people can read it, or a play that's being produced in such and such town that that community can see. There are so many ways that we can help one another that don't involve a huge outlay of cash. I know that we don't all have huge outlays of cash, right? We don't have stacks of cash sitting around that we can just spend on one another, but we do have a second to click a video, and you can give this one a thumbs up. We do have a second of time to click the little heart icon on a Twitter post to say, yes, we like this content that's talking about a character in a book, so that the algorithm knows, okay, this content is good. This content from this author was a cool thing, so people like it, so we're going to keep feeding that content. And that's what we're doing. We're helping the algorithm, we're helping the spiders and the bots see that indie authors have content that other people want to see. You guys understand. You guys get it, right? Okay. One of the ways I'm trying so hard is to build this freaking channel. But, I picked up, let's see, S.G. Blair? No? Okay. I picked up this. I picked up, this is J.C. Hartcarver. I picked up this one. I picked up these books and, a stack more at the Imaginarium convention back in July. I haven't read these two yet. There are several books from that book haul that I haven't gotten to yet. I'm working on it. We're going to get there soon. And I will do reviews of those here on this channel. I will talk about those authors. I will talk about those books. And when I do, I will say at the end, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get everyone out there who watches it to give it a thumbs up, to let the algorithm know, let the YouTube algorithm know that these books, these authors are of value. These books, these authors are something that people want to hear about. I'm trying. I'm trying. I mean, most recently I picked up, now I ordered this one online, the Copperwheat collection from Dwan L. Hearn, okay? I just picked this one up and we're going to do a review of that one here Actually, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to film another, and I'm going to film that one. We're going to talk about it. And when I do, I'm going to say at the end of the video, give this a thumbs up. Okay. And that's that goal, is to let the algorithm know this book, this author is worth paying attention to. And that's an easy thing for us to do as fellow creatives, just to click something, just to say, yeah, that's interesting content. The next easy thing to do is go look at that author's website. Go look at that author's page on Amazon. It takes no time at all to click that little follow button on Amazon. Follow that author. Do you know how often authors release books? Some authors, it's once a year. Some authors, it's once a month. But you know what? To be notified once a month by Amazon that an author has released a book is no hardship. It's not a big deal to get an email notification once every 3 months that, oh, hey, J.C. Hartcarver has released a new book. I don't know if she does it that often or not. But I mean, is it a hardship to get an email once every 3 months announcing, hey, so-and-so has just released a book? No, it's not a hardship. So it's easy to hit that follow button on Amazon and follow that author. It lets Amazon know, hey, people are interested in this author. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right. So following, thumbs upping, because that's a verb. Let's see what else. Critique partners. We can be critique partners. It costs us nothing to do that. So we can help one another in that fashion. Critique partners. You guys know what critique partners are. I don't need to explain that, right? Just exchanging chapters. It doesn't necessarily have to be the whole manuscript. Exchanging a chunk of a book. Exchange, discuss, yeah. Reader groups work on much the same fashion, right? I've recently heard of one reader, I think she's on Twitter, or MeWe, one reader, but she goes to a reader group like almost every weekend, right? They meet on like I'm going to say Saturday, but it might be Sunday. I should have prepared this part better. Anyway, she meets with a group. They sit around a table. She stands up. She reads 3 pages, and they give her feedback. And then the next person stands up, reads 3 pages. They give that person feedback. And that is a simple thing to do. It doesn't cost anything to give someone feedback when you're sitting around a table. Blurbs and testimonials, another free way to help one another in this indie business, right? If an author has an advanced reader copy that needs a blurb or a testimonial, it doesn't take much to read that thing, sometimes skim if you're in a big hurry, and write a blurb about it or a testimonial. And if you find that you can't, if you find that it is not something you could put your name behind, a polite, I can't get to this now, or a polite, I don't know that I could write something that you could use. I mean, there are polite ways to say no. There are polite ways to decline. Let's see. Podcasts and blog interviews. Those are awesome. Not, what was the word I'm looking for? I was going to say not expensive, but you usually don't have to pay to be on a podcast. Podcasts and interviews for blogs and such, those things don't cost anything to be on there. All it costs is a little bit of courage to reach out and say, hey, may I be a guest on your podcast? May I be a guest on your blog? Would you like to interview me? And yeah, sometimes that costs a little bit of courage. But if we can do that for one another, if we can say to the podcast host, hey, thank you so much. This was a wonderful experience. If it was, would you be interested in interviewing so-and-so, this friend of mine who has a book as well? That kind of thing is lifting everyone. You know, all boats rise with a rising tide. The more quality indie authors are shared out there in the world, the better. The more the readers know that there are indie authors who are good, who are writing quality books, who have cool stories, who have interesting characters, the better it is for all of us. There you go. So those are my marketing thoughts, and those were my additional publishing ideas that I forgot to mention in the first video. I think that's all. So you guys, you know what happens now. Thumbs up. Thumbs up for the second video that wasn't planned. And please subscribe to the channel. Please click the bell notification so that you're notified each time I do this kind of random stuff. Thank you for following along. Thank you for helping other indie authors out here in the trenches.